ndio iko, lakini si mvutano kubwa, sababu tukiweza kufanya mipangilio ya kutosha, yule hana jawabu la kuingilia association. Kwa wakati huu tuko na shida, sababu hatuanzi kule mashinani chini, na ni kitu inatupatia gharama sana, sababu wale vijana tunapata, hata tukipata vijana hawezi kulast for 5 or 7 years, lakini kama tukianza na mtoto mdogo wa shule, he can last for at least 10 years and above. Lakini kwa sasa tuko na ukosefu wa hizo training za shule, na ningepiga nduru pengine wasikie ngumi zetu ziko chini, lakini sio kukosa kufunzwa. Ni vile pia hatutilii maanani kule chini kwa vijana wadogo kwa shule.
He however maintains the once vibrant sport can be revived if the stakeholders play their part effectively.
There are big companies ambayo wanaweza kuassist in box, hata kuandika boxes. Sasa hapa mtaa, unaweza kwenda mtaa ukute yeye ni mtu kijana mzuri, lakini pengine hana kazi, hana nini. Na hii boxing huwezi kufanya vizuri kama huli mzuri, mpaka ukule mzuri, ulale mzuri, ukae vizuri, ndio uwe na nguvu ya kufanya mazoezi. Otherwise, kama hauna kazi, inakuwa ni shida, huwezi kucheza boxing vizuri. So ningeuliza well wishers kama watu wakiweza kurevive old clubs, city council and such on, ingelikuwa mzuri, sababu hapo ndio tumepotezea boxers wengi.
One of his children has taken note and is closely following in his footsteps out of the 4 he has brought up with his wife.
There is one who is a boxer, but the rest, they never joined the boxing.
And that's rewarding to Patrick Montu, a former member of the legendary Kenya boxing hit squad, which brought a lot of fame in the country home and away in amateur boxing, in the hope that the sport will be taken seriously so that more champions can be produced and take boxing to a higher level than they did in the yesteryears.
Future hatuwezi kusema hakuna kwa boxing, sababu hatuwezi huwa boxing. Boxing iko all over the world. Na sasa ikiwa Kenya tulikuwa superstars miaka 80s, why kill boxing now? Ni ngumu kumaliza boxing, hatuwezi huwa boxing. Hata kama ni ngumu, sababu we have chances coming from down, coming up. So we ought to train our young men and boys in order to achieve what we want in boxing.
KBC Channel 1, Kenya's watching.
Nearly 60,000 Congolese packed the stadium as Muhammad Ali took on George Foreman in what became known as the Rumble in the Jungle.
Oh, you can't believe it! Oh my God, he's won the title back at 32!
That's the greatest boxer of all times, the legendary Muhammad Ali, whose verbal jostling was as stinging as his punches transcending the sport of boxing to global superstar status.
I'm going to eat some raw meat, and I'm going to train, I'm going to get ready and chop some more trees.
And that's the path that Denmark-based Kenyan professional boxer Ivan Sashira Ure decided to take after coming of age in Nairobi's Jericho Lumumba State, where he was born in 1969. He could have taken up soccer as many youngsters did, but he was eventually drawn into boxing since many of his family members plied the trade. His cousin Charles Owisi, who was a silver medalist in the Olympics, was his first coach.
I was born in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. My family used to live at Jericho Lumumba, Nairobi. We lived there for when I was 2 years old, we moved to Mombasa. And that's where I grew, and that's where I grew until I started working, started boxing, and everything begins from there. I went to school at Serrani Primary School, and then at the age of, I think, at the class 5, I went to my up-country home, and I went to a school called Mlunya. And when I finished the class 8, I came back to Mombasa. Then I went to Mombasa Secondary School. Then I used to box and go to school. After I finished my high school, of course, I did concentrate on boxing, and then I boxed for Kenya Posta, moved around, boxed to Bamburi, and then I moved to Kenya Post Authority, and that's where I started boxing really serious. And then
Ashira Oure eventually made it to the Kenyan squad in the 1992 before taking a bronze a year later in the 1993 Federation of East, Southern and Central Africa Boxing Championship. He won the silver the following year but could not make it to the Commonwealth ring due to a broken thumb. He won the welterweight title in the All-African Games during his amateur career but lost his first bout in the Atlanta Olympics in the first round. He, however, wrapped up his duty to the nation on a high with the win in the 1996 Commonwealth Boxing Federation Championship before going into retirement.
What happened is people disappeared, people walked off the planet Earth. And the first thing that happens, not the fighters, the whole system went down when they brought it down to boxing everything like a championship fight. And everybody got lazy, everybody took a holiday, everybody took a leave. I mean, when you're taking a leave in the middle of action, what do you expect? You don't get nothing happening.
Well, here comes Evan Zashira. His first trip to Britain. Born in Mombasa, Kenya, now living in Aarhus, Denmark.
The retirement was short-lived as the African warrior found his way to Denmark in 1998, where he turned professional to win 23 successive fights, thanks to the likes of, among others, renowned world promoter Don King, who took him under his stable.
To be worrying unduly the executioner if he's watching. Again, good work with the left hand getting right underneath. Again, it's sloppy defense from Ashira. It's a clear channel right the way between, giving a path up to basically.
As I went there, I signed up with the new promoter out there, and he made fights for me, and the first 6-7 fights I won all of them by knockout, and I was going so fast, so by my 7th fight I already had a title fight. So I had a title, I was a champion when I had 8 fights, I was a champion already.
He also knocked out Ian McKillop in 2007 for the vacant International Boxing Association middleweight title before denying former world champion Mamadou Diam the vacant Universal Boxing Organization Intercontinental Light middleweight title the following year. He also took to the ring with some of the world-famous boxers in his most cherished moments.
Remember, at the end of the 4th, it looked as if it was only going to be a matter of seconds. The bell saved him then. And again, it's a great left hand. And he measured him up with the first, and then the second came, and it didn't have to do too much work to send him to the canvas. Third time down, end of the round, and that's just about saved it, because you could just see him just getting ready to tee up.
Most memorable achievement should be, like, I box one of the best boxers on the planet Earth right now, Joe Calzaghe, at his bone weight, super middleweight, and boxing for 12 rounds when I had a broken shoulder muscle, and at round number 4, and I went 12 rounds with him. The fight still looking competitive all to the end. And another memorable achievement, I went down to Madison Square Garden. I beaten Quinton Smith, one of the toughest middleweight at the time. I beat him for 10 rounds. He didn't win one round. Round 1 to 10, I beat him all the rounds. Very convincing. And that was some of the best achievement I did.
Ashira Ure has also sparred with many of the best fighters in the world of boxing, including Evander Holyfield and Floyd Mayweather. He suffered a crushing defeat to Samoa's Marcelino Masso in a WBA World Middleweight title in one of his worst fights of his career.
Of course, the biggest disappointment was when I lost to a guy called Masoe for a WBA World title fight down in Miami, whereby I had a new trainer in my corner who put smell salt in my nose because he thought I got shaken by a punch just to worken me up. But since I don't drink, I don't smoke, then it really kicked me up. So I felt like I was dazed, and the referee looked at me and see like I was dazed, and then he just stopped the fight. And then it was technical knockout. I said, wow, how that's happened? And I worked my ass out for that fight. So I really remember that day. I get crazy.
The orthodox boxer was won at 29 bouts, 15 by knockouts out of the 33 plus he's fought. Now spends his time grooming upcoming talent in Copenhagen, Denmark, where he is still based. He also runs a gym where he trains people how to adapt to a healthy lifestyle. He is also involved in promotional bouts back in Kenya, where he still operates a boxing camp in Mombasa.
At my world champion boxing gym in Copenhagen, Denmark, I have a lot of Ashira Ure boxing future champion kids who are really like the way I box. They're my role model, and I do a lot for them. I train them, and I do everything for them. So I really motivate them, and in Kenya I try to really do something whenever I come here. I try to motivate everybody that's involved with boxing, who's doing something for the boxing game.
Ashira Ure, who lives with his family in Denmark, is also happy that some of his children have taken an interest in the sport.
Mostly, I don't engage in so much sport. I just like to swim with my kids, play a little basketball, shooting with my kids, and I don't do it competitively, but we just do it for fun. Do some swimming laps, take some basketball games. That's what we do, and that's basically. Otherwise, I always like to box. We're just having like simple, like basic family life, and all of them, they come in the gym and train boxing every time, once a week. And the big one he plays, he competes a lot in basketball. He's very, very good in basketball and boxing too. So all of them, they're doing fine.
The former IBA middleweight world champion is, however, concerned with the falling standards of boxing in the country, which he attributes to neglect and bad publicity.
So what happens is like this whole thing have to be changed. All the boxing lovers, all the government people who really love the sport, love the country. Look at boxing. We had the first African ever gold medalist to come from Kenya. We've had so much achievement in running. It's boxing and running normally. I don't say the other sports is bad, but boxing has always been the core. People you go everywhere, they know boxing. As you had hit school, Africa champions 2 times, and they've won Commonwealth champion and everything. But now we're not winning anything because it is neglected.
Ashira Ure, one of the greatest boxers Kenya has ever produced, is nevertheless optimistic that the once vibrant sport will regain its place in the Kenyan society.
Someone put him down.
Jerry, breathe up and look like you want to do something. You're making yourself look an idiot here. People say that.
What I want to say to everybody out there is like, boxing is there to live, and everybody who loves boxing, come out and fight for boxing. Unless all the press and everybody, let's write something positive about boxing, not all about this negative stuff. And all the boxing managers or organization or what do you call them, coaches and everything, like the association, they should turn the old school boxing. Let's box one club against each club to get more competitiveness, to get boxing back on feet. And as much as we love boxing, of course, we'll still say something. We want to have enough just because we did that.
KBC Channel 1, Kenya's watching.
They were the only Kenyan footballers to be ranked among the best in the continent by the Confederation of African Football. Peter Dao terrorized many defenders in the 80s and 90s as Tobias Juakali Ochola marshaled the defense for both the national team Harambee Stars and the mighty Gor Mahia. Tobias Ochola was born in South Nyanza, where he discovered his abilities on the soccer pitch.
I started liking football in primary school, where I started playing in the school team in class 6 until I finished the primary section. Then on joining high school in 1979, I went straight into the school team, from where I played up to 1982, where I joined Ministry of Works Kisumu before joining Hot Stars, which was the biggest team in Kisumu by then. I stayed in Hot Stars for 3 years, up to 1985.
He joined Gor Mahia in 1986 and went on to win the league thrice, with 1987 being their greatest year, what with a treble which included the prestigious Mandela Cup.
I think it was the preparation of the team then, because in 86 Gor Mahia had Len Julians as the coach. I think that's after coming from a 2-year ban. Gor Mahia was banned for 2 years. Then during that limbo, I think the management decided to prepare the team well. So by the end of 1985, Gor Mahia took Eastern Central in Sudan, where they beat FC 1-0. Then from that time, the team started gelling well. And when Julians left, we had Jack Johnson in 1987, who took over from where Len Julians left, and guiding the team to the treble in 1987.
There were sad moments, however, in the Sekafa club, notably when they lost out to their arch-rivals FC Leopards.
Worst nightmare with Gor Mahia when we lost to Leopards. 3-2 at the City Stadium. We were leading 2-0 by halftime. But unfortunately, I had a collision with Dan Musuku. I didn't finish the match. I was rushed to Nairobi Hospital, which I stayed for an overnight observation. I left the team leading 2-0, but when the officers came to see me, the result I got was shocking. They came from 2-0 down to 3-2. So it was not a good night for me.
Tobias Ochola also played for the national soccer team Harambee Stars, where he was capped thrice in the Africa Cup of Nations between 1988 and 1992.
Preparations were right, and the players were committed. And those days, the changing of players were not as today. We could stay in the team for at least 5 years. So that, I think, also was positive. Because if you change a team quite often, there's no gelling and cohesion disappears.
Looking for Abraham Hatta.
He also had unforgettable experiences in the CECAFA Senior Challenge Cup, where Kenya was a force to reckon with in the yesteryears.
With the national team, my most memorable moment is when we played in Kampala against the Uganda Cranes, where we defeated Cranes in the semis. We defeated them 4-1, which was not expected from their fans. And it was a good time for us, winning away, kind of. So it was a dream come true for us.
The former defender left the national soccer team in 1994, the same year he hung up his playing boots for Gor Mahia too.
I thought I'd served my country, and I didn't want to be pushed out of football. I left it when I was still being needed, so that I also do my own things.
Juakali later turned into coaching and currently holds a Level B certificate from a CAF course.
There were issues about coaching and all the rest, and after the coach left, by then I was the captain. Then I was told or asked by the office to take charge, where in 1985 we won the championships, and in 1986 we came runners-up.
Long there by controlled Oliech. Trying to open up room for himself. Oh, here comes Oliech, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It's Oliech over the bar. You just cannot believe this.
The former defender is however not impressed with the current flag bearers, whose performance has been found wanting due to a myriad of problems.
The mixed results for the national team is attributed to too many changes of the bench, and the preparation is inadequate. Then the players are never together for a long period. We change the players quite often, so we need to give the players time to gel, and the coach also at least 3 years, 2 to 3 years, to learn the players is coaching well before a replacement is sought.
And what does he think about his former club Gor Mahia, whose rivalry with FC Leopards was considered the most intense and famous in the region?
A lot of impact in the game, but it does also reverberate on the side stands as well, and even in training, Jacob.
Well, he's one of the key players in that Gor Mahia's midfield.
Here is a low one off the hands of Matasi again, as Tony was trying to get a head onto it, and Matasi saved it off this dreadlocked header. It's going to be another corner for the side. Again, Moses Odiabo will be bringing it, and he's making it just so hard to deal with it from the goalkeeper's perspective. It's so close to the line. This is a big one now. And headed out by Chinjili, who had joined the defense.
My take on Gor Mahia is very simple. The current players we've had from, I think, 09 up to June this year were more or less the same age. So they were kind of youth, and you need to blend the youth and and the senior players, so that they come out together. You cannot let the youth play alone. It will never work. So that we have to discard the age bracket, so that there are those who are studying, understanding others as they move on. Having the same age is not easy.
Tobias Ochola is now based at Kenyatta University, where he is the coordinator of sports and games. He also features in the Wazee wa Kazi training sessions whenever he's free.
Currently, I'm working at sports and games in Kenyatta University as a games coach, and I'm based at Parklands campus, coordinating sports there, and the city campus on behalf of the coordinator, sports and games, Kenyatta University.
He is also taking care of his 2 children after his beloved wife passed away due to brain tumor complications.
I have 2 kids. Firstborn is a daughter who is, the interest is in broadcasting journalism. She's out of sports, but the son is both in basketball and soccer.
And that's Tobias Ochola, the former Gor Mahia and former Harambee Stars defender, one of our legendary footballers.
Our future in sports looks bright if we do our elections right and we get the correct person to manage football, to say, and the involvement of the government is also important, because we cannot run football out of the blues.
KBC Channel 1, Kenya's watching.